And a local grassroots movement takes on the healthcare industry.
Tonight on Channel 4 News at 6, working for you.
On our broadcast tonight, high stakes. If that huge financial bailout plan fails, then what? And what are the chances of that? Tonight, the president speaks to the nation with a whole lot hanging in the balance. Hold everything. John McCain said today this is such a serious time, he thinks Friday's presidential debate should be postponed, while Barack Obama says not so fast. The road home. We're here in Houston tonight, where 1 in 4 families will spend tonight in the dark, still without power, 11 days now after Hurricane Ike. We'll hear from the man in charge, while down the road in Galveston, they're finally being allowed back in. Also tonight, Tom Brokaw's conversation with one of the richest men in the world. Nightly News begins now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
And good evening from Houston. No one seems to love the idea of a huge financial bailout to prop up this nation's banking network, but no one seems to know what would happen without it either. A lot of Americans and many in Congress seem to be saying today, wait a minute, what's in here and what's it going to cost all of us? The original plan is in trouble. They talked all day in Washington. They're still talking tonight. The president is going on national television tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Time to make the case for the bailout. And all of this blew up on the campaign trail today, where John McCain tried to stop Friday's upcoming presidential debate because of this crisis. While the Treasury Secretary, who's the man pushing for all this money, says the world's markets need an answer and the clock is ticking. We have a team of correspondents and analysts on this story tonight. We'll begin with our own Tom Costello in Washington. Tom, good evening.
Hi, Brian. It's clear tonight that the administration's initial 3-page plan is not going to pass Congress. However, Democrats say that they have a 42-page plan right now. The issues remain oversight, whether you dole all of this money out at once, and whether to limit the compensation to the executives at companies that have been bailed out. As the administration's point men on the financial crisis return to Capitol Hill, trying to sell their $700 billion bailout package, GOP leaders were urgently working to convince skeptical House Republicans of the need to go along.
I do think that Congress has a responsibility to act.
Both Republicans and Democrats in both houses saying they've gotten an earful from voters back home.
Amazement, astonishment, and intense anger.
Inaction is not an option. And we have to get this right.
The problem is the people that are asked to clean up all the broken furniture, they didn't get invited to the party.
Is he going to be out of a job? Is his credit card not going to work? Is his daughter not going to college?
With bailout opponents becoming more vocal, the White House announced President Bush will go on television tonight to explain his plan to a skeptical nation. Meanwhile, the Treasury Secretary signaled he's now open to negotiating with lawmakers who want to limit golden parachutes and compensation for executives of bailed-out companies.
We must find a way to address this in the legislation, but without undermining the effectiveness of this program.
The administration has still provided few details of how the bailout would work. But with mortgages, car, student, and business loans in jeopardy, the Fed chairman, a student of the Great Depression, reiterated there's no time to waste.
I think this is the most significant financial crisis in the post-war period for the United States, and it has, in fact, a global reach.
Members of Congress are anxious to go home Friday to campaign for re-election. But saying the bailout plan is in trouble, Senator McCain today suspended his presidential campaign to return to Washington and negotiate a package. Senator Obama says he'll return if needed. Meanwhile, the stock and credit markets were especially volatile today, even with the vote of confidence from legendary investor Warren Buffett, who invested $5 billion in Goldman Sachs. House Democrats here say they feel that they are in fact close to a deal, but they fear that John McCain will come in and try to claim credit. Meanwhile, Brian, many Republicans are fundamentally and ideologically opposed to the idea of a government bailout.
All right, Tom Costello again tonight, starting us off in D.C. Today was the day the financial crisis and the presidential campaign really collided. With 41 days to go, both candidates started the day talking about a show of a united front, but then John McCain quickly opted for something more dramatic later in the day. He wanted to stop Friday's debate between the two candidates from happening at all. Now, tonight, the debate organizers insist the debate will go on in Mississippi. Kelly O'Donnell is covering the McCain campaign, is with us tonight with the very latest. And Kelly, upon arrival here in Houston, I spoke with the senator by phone today who used words like grave to describe this financial circumstance, and he said he was tailoring his behavior to fit it.
Exactly, Brian. Advisors say that this is dire and that McCain wants to focus on this before the campaign continues. And as you indicated, this day started about 8:30 this morning when it was Senator Obama placing a phone call to McCain, but the two men didn't talk then. The idea was to put together that joint statement. They actually spoke hours later, and by then, McCain had a whole lot more than a joint statement in mind.
Suspend my campaign and return to Washington after
Advisors say McCain made his decision to freeze his own political schedule by mid-morning. That came after he met with economic advisors and after phoning a number of members of Congress. Advisors said that included Hillary Clinton. At 2:30 this afternoon, McCain phoned Obama back, and in a 10-minute conversation, the candidates discussed the need for swift bipartisan action to get a deal done. McCain wants that finished before the markets open Monday. Aides knowledgeable about that call described it as friendly.
I'm directing my campaign to work with the Obama campaign and the Commission on Presidential Debates to delay Friday night's debate until we have taken action to address this crisis.
McCain advisors say they do not expect a standoff over the status of Friday's debate and insist all three debates will eventually be held. Amping up the pressure on Obama, McCain is pulling TV ads and suspending fundraising unilaterally.
Americans across our country lament the fact that partisan divisions in Washington have prevented us from addressing our national challenges. Now is our chance to come together to prove that Washington is once again capable of leading this country.
And Brian, John McCain put out his own framework for what he thinks a bailout should look like, a financial rescue mission. He did that last Friday, and among many points, he talks about no golden parachutes for CEOs who are involved, and he also wants to see bipartisan oversight of this bailout process. Brian?
Kelly O'Donnell in Midtown Manhattan tonight. Thanks. And just 90 minutes after John McCain tried to grab the hold of this debate between politics and the bailout, Barack Obama then had his say, and our own Lee Cowan is covering the Obama campaign for us. Lee, good evening.
Well, good evening, Brian. Some things Barack Obama said would help, others wouldn't. All he was trying to do in that phone call today was to suggest that he and John McCain come out with a joint statement saying what they both thought should be part of that proposal. That's it.
At a hastily arranged press conference, it was clear John McCain's debate postponement plan came as a shock to Barack Obama.
I thought this was something that was that he was mulling over. Apparently, this was something that he was more decisive about in his own mind.
Obama had been talking about the economy all day while campaigning. Multitasking, he called it, the sign of a good president, he says, and all the more reason to debate now.
This is exactly the time when the American people need to hear from the person who, in approximately 40 days, will be responsible for dealing with this mess.
He didn't rule out going to Washington, but hinted geography makes little difference.
If I can be helpful, then I'm prepared to be anywhere, anytime. What I think is important, though, is that we don't suddenly infuse Capitol Hill with presidential politics at a time when we're in the middle of some very delicate and difficult negotiations.
Now, that's about as close as Obama came to suggesting that McCain's motives were political. As for those debates, as you say, Brian, tonight the Presidential Debate Commission says Friday's debates will go on as planned. Brian.
Lee Cowan in the Obama headquarters city of Chicago tonight. Lee, thanks. And for more on all of this, including some new polling numbers tonight, our NBC News political director Chuck Todd is back home in our New York studios. Chuck, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Well, it's interesting. We're trying to figure out, why is President Bush speaking tonight? Why did John McCain make these decisions? Well, the answer is in our poll, actually, this new NBC Wall Street Journal poll. What was interesting, asked about the bailout plan, only 31% of our respondents approved of the bailout plan. 33 disapproved, but look at this no opinion number, Brian, 28%. This tells you over 60% of the population either doesn't approve or doesn't know enough about it to approve it. That's why President Bush is coming out tonight. He's got to sell this thing, and this thing was going to be dead on arrival. Now, why does John McCain want to call a timeout right now and sort of suspend the campaign? Well, he was getting clobbered on the economy over these last 2 weeks. Look at these numbers. Asked who's better on these issues. On the economy, it's Obama by 12 points. Handling the mortgage and housing crisis, Obama by 8 points. Dealing with the Wall Street crisis, Obama by 5 points. The only place in the economy that McCain had a lead was on taxes with 4 points. And oh, by the way, we did have a head-to-head number here. This is a narrow lead still for Obama, 48% to 46%. This is a slight change from our last poll, showing a little drifting toward Obama, Brian.
Appears things might be on the move. We'll keep watching it. Chuck Todd in our New York studios, thanks. And with us tonight for analysis of what was an eventful day, especially in the financial markets, CNBC's Maria Bartiromo and Steve Leisman. Steve, starting with you, we landed here in Houston today to reports that the deal was dead on arrival in Washington. Now it doesn't seem to be, though it has grown in size. What is this ticking clock we keep hearing about? Why the hurry for a deal?
Well, two things, Brian. The first thing is that credit markets themselves have really frozen up once again, a lot like the problems we had last Thursday. Banks are not trusting banks to lend to, and companies are paying much higher rates right now in the market. The other thing, Brian, is that this is going to hit Main Street if it doesn't pass. We're talking about higher unemployment, difficulty for businesses to get credit and to get loans to do their business, and of course much lower GDP or economic output, probably bordering on a pretty severe recession.
And Maria Bartiromo, while all this talking and bargaining goes on, what have the markets been doing?
Well, Brian, the biggest issue for the markets is uncertainty. Remember last week when the bailout plan was first leaked and everyone was talking about it, and investors were under the impression that this would be clean-cut and easy to pass. The market rallied 700 points in 2 days. But then when we came into work this week and it became clear that this is not going to be so easy, and the devil is in the details, and there are questions about why the price tag, how is it going to be spent, then the market is volatile and goes down. I suspect if we don't get something certain to put certainty and confidence back in the market on the table soon, we will see further volatility and perhaps declines.
All right, our thanks to Steve Leisman and Maria Bartiromo, who tonight, by the way, is hosting a fascinating look at oil in this country, the hunt for black gold. That's on CNBC tonight at 9:30 Eastern Time, immediately following the president's speech. Now to the situation here in Houston. Hurricane Ike hit here 11 days ago, and still so many people in this area are without power. Behind our location here, the J.P. Morgan Chase Tower still has the boarded up windows on the lower floors from the storm. Ike may end up doing as much property damage as Katrina. Ike was only a Category 2, but the storm surge was a Category 4. Life is still a struggle here. It's still much worse to the south in Galveston, where today was the first day homeowners were allowed to return home. I'll report on that tonight from NBC's Don Teague.
Even hours before sunrise, thousands of Galveston residents packed the road home, desperately hoping the wind and high water that pummeled this island 11 days ago somehow spared them. But with daylight, for so many came despair.
Oh my God, watch the mud.
84-year-old Ethel Dickard has lived her whole life on Galveston, the last 44 years in this tidy white house on Campbell Street.
Mom, don't touch the walls. Oh my God, I've lost everything.
She returned home today to discover 5 feet of water has destroyed everything she owns.
Look at this, the mud came. God.
She has no insurance, no money except Social Security, and no idea where to go now.
It's gone. It's gone. I don't know what to do.
For days, Galveston officials have tried to warn residents about the toxic mud that covers everything here, about the mold, the sickening smell, the darkness, and devastation.
The upstairs is good.
But how do you prepare for this? A house that survived the deadly hurricane of 1900
I'm okay.
Not as bad.
I'm okay.
Is hit once again by Hurricane Ike. How do you grasp the magnitude of the losses? Block after block of luxury homes and modest cottages, like 90-year-old Doris Rose's house, flooded, wrecked, ruined.
Oh, Lord, I can't stay here.
For the very lucky ones whose houses survived, there are tempered smiles.
Yay!
But for too many people, like Ethel Dickard,
I've got my belief. I've got that God will take care of me. And I guess when it's all over, He will. But I can't imagine why it happened.
all that remains are faith, tears, and memories of what used to be home. Don Teague, NBC News, Galveston.
And when we continue from Houston tonight, our conversation with the man in charge here on the challenge that lies ahead. And later, Tom Brokaw talks to a man who knows something about money, Bill Gates, on this current financial crisis.
So we're not turning to this again.
Talk about a wake-up call. I had a heart attack at 57. My doctor told me I should have been doing more for my high cholesterol. What was I thinking? But now, I trust my heart to Lipitor.
When diet and exercise are not enough, adding Lipitor may help. Unlike some other cholesterol-lowering medications, Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, and certain kinds of heart surgeries if you have several common risk factors or heart disease. Lipitor has been extensively studied with over 16 years of research. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
I learned the hard way, but you may be able to do something.
Have a heart-to-heart with your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of Net Zero. All internet providers take you to the same internet, so why pay more to get there? Net Zero is only $9.95 a month, and we give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
Can a multivitamin support a healthy body and alert mind?
My One-A-Day does.
New One-A-Day Women's Active Mind and Body is a complete multivitamin with support for bone and breast health, plus extra B vitamins and a guarana blend to help you feel alert and energized. One-A-Day.
Meet Erica. Grand Poobah of pasta. Chancellor of cheese.
Fresh.
Connoisseur of coal. She keeps her ingredients in Glad bags, the easy way to help keep food fresh and handy. And now Glad bags are even easier to use. They're designed to grip with new taller tabs and more ridges.
Effortless.
Go easy. Get Glad.
We're back here in Houston, where upon arrival today, we interviewed the man in charge. This city is still trying to turn all the lights back on. Again, 1 in 4 power customers still out, recovering from this deceptively powerful storm in the midst of a national economic storm, and a lot of it falls on the shoulders of Mayor Bill White. Everybody heard well, made landfall as a 2, but this storm surge was more of a 4.
Yeah. The storm surge was high, plus you know, you had the 4th largest city that was right in the eye of the hurricane. So the trees were down, power out for the 4th largest city in this country, 100%. You know, there was so much property damage, you wouldn't believe it. You couldn't even pass the streets of my city.
Now, here we are covering a presidential campaign and now a financial collapse. Did you feel a little bit like, hey, folks, we have some attention over here?
Well, you know, really, we know how to get things done here in town. Just if you take an example of our response to Katrina, 250,000 people from Katrina came here. 160,000 were housed at the end of 2005. We handled it locally. We know how to get things done. So we don't need so much, how would I say, sympathy, but we would like some funding. Charitable funding, Red Cross funding is almost insignificant compared to what it was during Katrina, as well as making sure that the federal government doesn't forget all the people in this community while it's trying to bail out Merrill Lynch and others who made mistakes on Wall Street.
As we stand here this afternoon, how is Houston doing? Is the figure correct, 1 in 4 still without power?
Yeah, 1 in 4 still without power, but spirits are high. I mean, there's a spirit of optimism. Everywhere I go, the thumbs up and a smile is a big symbol. People got out there with their chainsaws and saws, and within about 48 hours, the citizens, working with city crews, but mainly it was the citizens who went out there. I asked them to clear the streets, get their saws and axes and chainsaws out, and they did it. But I tell you what, living in this century, 2 or 3 weeks without any electrical power, especially for a senior or for small businesses, it's real hardship.
An important man here in Houston these days, Mayor Bill White, and we're back in a moment with an important visitor to New York this week.
If you have trouble sleeping, Lunesta can give you a great night, 7 to 8 restful hours of sleep. But did you know that a Lunesta night can help give you a great morning? A morning refreshed, recharged. You might even wake so rested, you'll find a way to make the day special.
Class, today we're going to make some music.
Lunesta helps you fall asleep quickly, so take it right before bed. Be sure you have at least 8 hours to devote to sleep before becoming active. Until you know how you'll react to Lunesta, you should not drive or operate machinery. Do not take Lunesta with alcohol. Call your doctor right away if after taking Lunesta you walk, drive, eat, or engage in other activities while asleep. In rare cases, severe allergic reactions can occur. Most sleep medicines carry some risk of dependency. Side effects may include unpleasant taste, headache, drowsiness, and dizziness. Why wait another night? Ask your doctor how a Lunesta night's sleep can help you wake this refreshed. Lunesta, a great tomorrow starts tonight.
Creamy, smooth, flavorful. The name, Silk. Smooth as. And it is.
Silk has soy protein, antioxidants, and omega-3s, plus all the calcium and vitamins A and D of milk. Silk. Take a step forward.
Why do travel companies love to advertise in the blue envelope? Because they know it's a great way to help their businesses take off. From savings on sushi or steak, to discounts on dresses, to great deals on groceries. There's something in it for you. Valpak and Valpak.com. To advertise, call 1-800-4VALPAK. Auto repair shops know the best way to sell more tires, repairs, and oil changes is to call 1-800-4VALPAK. Call today to learn how Valpak can help get your business on a roll.
In about 6 weeks, Americans will make a decision of profound importance. Where are we going to have Thanksgiving turkey? In those same 6 weeks, Cheerios could help lower your cholesterol 4%. Cheerios, 4% in 6 weeks. Now's the time.
Meet me, Meg. I've got osteoporosis, but I'm an on-the-go kind of woman. So when my doctor told me about Reclass, the once-a-year IV osteoporosis treatment that can help protect me while I'm on the go for an entire year, it had Meg written all over it. My doctor said once-a-year Reclass can help re-strengthen my bones to help make them resistant to fracture for 12 months. The thing about Reclass is no other osteoporosis treatment is approved to help protect from fracture in more places. Hip, spine, even other bones.
You should not take Reclass if you're on Zometa, have low blood calcium, kidney problems, or you're pregnant, plan to become pregnant, or nursing. Take calcium and vitamin D daily. Tell your doctor if you develop severe muscle, bone, or joint pain, or if you have dental problems, as rarely jaw problems have been reported. The most common side effects include flu-like symptoms, fever, muscle or joint pain, and headache.
Ask your doctor about Reclass, year-long protection for on-the-go women.
That big gathering at the UN in New York this week happens to include Bill Gates, who recently left his job at Microsoft to devote his attention full-time to giving his money away, his charitable foundation tackling some of the world's toughest problems. And these days, that list includes the U.S. economy. Bill Gates sat down earlier today with Tom Brokaw.
Short term, isn't everything going to be on hold for a while?
No, I think in terms of inventing new medicines or improving software or coming up with new ways of doing things, the level of investment is going to stay very, very high. You've got some concern in the financial sector, but this country, in terms of its science and innovative businesses, it's a great thing for the world that that's there. And I don't think, even if we did have an economic cycle that was negative, a lot of that endures. A lot of that is the kind of thing that's made this country so amazing.
How hard is it now, however, to sell the American ideal, as it were, in developing countries when we're in the midst of this kind of a financial crisis in our own country? And they're saying to us, you're going to tell us how to do business, given what you've done to yourself?
Well, I think people look at the United States and say they'd love to have the problems we have. They'd love to face these challenges. They are in a much worse situation.
But as you develop a business plan for the Gates Foundation in the midst of what we're going through right now, do you worry about a cataclysmic event coming out of all of this, that we go into a Great Depression in this country and the ripple effect around the world?
Well, the effect of a depression would be, incredibly bad for all countries. The U.S. economy doing well is very, very important to the world, and so we've got to put our attention to managing our economy. They have other challenges like the price of food going up, the instability, the political leadership things, and so they've always had ups and downs.
You seem to be pretty cool about where this is going and how we're going to get there and how, if you take the long view, it'll work out in the end. Is that a fair summary?
That's right. The U.S. economy in the long run is going to do very, very well. There's some interesting, meaningful decisions to be made in these next few weeks, but the uniqueness of our universities and our science and our risk-taking, all of that is very much there.
Bill Gates with Tom Brokaw in New York today, and we're back from Houston tonight in just a moment.
Meet Bob Kearns, inventor of the intermittent windshield wiper.
It's such a simple idea. Where did you do your research?
My basement.
A man with a unique invention. Maybe this is the one.
Ford is very interested. Why, Ford? Wow, they want it.
A company who would do anything to get it.
We're going to need a working unit from you. Okay. They want out, Bob. Who wants out? Ford.
Out? They have the unit, and they looked at my work. An American dream.
That is my design.
He would never give up.
They took this from us.
Flash of Genius is a remarkable and inspiring true story.
Ford does not know the meaning of years or money.
This is about right and wrong, and you know it. About a man with unbelievable grit, determination, and heart. Ford wants to offer your family $30 million.
Do they admit it was my invention?
No.
Don't do it, Dad.
For him all the way.
It's just a windshield wiper.
To you, maybe, but to me, it's the Mona Lisa. Flash of Genius. Rated PG-13. October 3rd.
When it comes to quitting smoking, are you a tortoise or a hare? If you're a tenacious tortoise determined to quit, take the first step. See your doctor and ask if prescription Chantix is right for you. The Chantix approach is a pill with a program. And take note, it's a non-nicotine pill. It helps keep nicotine from reaching key receptors in the brain. It can effectively reduce that urge to smoke. And because slip-ups happen, you can't have too much support. So include your doctor, friends and family, and consider Get Quit, a support plan for Chantix users. If you notice agitation, depressed mood, or changes in behavior that are not typical for you, or if you develop suicidal thoughts or actions, stop taking Chantix and call your doctor right away. Some patients have had these symptoms while taking or after stopping Chantix. Talk to your doctor about any history of depression or other mental health problems which may worsen while taking Chantix. Tell your doctor which medicines you're taking, as they may work differently when you quit smoking. Chantix dosing may be different if you have kidney problems. The most common side effect is nausea. Patients also reported trouble sleeping and vivid, unusual or strange dreams. Until you know how Chantix may affect you, use caution when driving or operating machinery. The quitting road isn't for sprinters, but stay with it. Studies show 44% were able to quit at the end of 12 weeks. So talk to your doctor about the benefits of quitting smoking and ask if Chantix is right for you.
Coming up on Channel 4 News, find out how a special meeting could change the rezoning of metro schools. Also, fun for the whole family or sacrilegious? The controversy continues over a proposed Bible theme park. And the local grassroots movement takes on the healthcare industry.
Tonight on Channel 4 News at 6, working for you.
One final note from Houston. We came here at the urging of our NBC station, KPRC TV. They have been working nonstop to cover the storm recovery from here south to Galveston for the last 11 days. That is our Wednesday night broadcast. I'm Brian Williams in Houston tonight. Reminder, we're back on the air 9 Eastern time with the President's address to the nation. Until then, good night.
Working for you in high definition. This is Channel 4 News.
Good evening again, everyone. Tonight, members of the Metro School Board want guarantees that when the new rezoning plan takes effect, funding and transportation will be available. Last night, the school board voted unanimously to meet with the district to hammer out the details. Channel 4's Kara Kumari is live in Hillwood with more for us. Kara.
Now, if you remember back to July, this was a very close decision. This was a very controversial decision. The most controversial part was the part that would end busing from North Nashville over here to the Hillwood cluster. Some school board members now want to make sure that there's a game plan, the money, and the resources to make this happen the right way, or else they say it shouldn't happen at all. The new rezoning plan doesn't take effect until next year, but one school member says we shouldn't wait until then to see if promises are kept.
That if it's not carried out in the appropriate way, we will in fact have a great deal of racial and social isolation of children, especially in the